This video is sponsored by Niba.com. Niba.com is an amazing digital gaming marketplace where you can pick up great deals on all the best digital game keys. You've got Steam keys, you've got Origin keys, everything for PC, but also Xbox, PS4, and Nintendo Switches as well. You can see in the background, you can get some really great deals. Like, look, Ark Survival Evolved Steam for £4.41. It's really crazy. That's just one example. They have such good deals on there. I myself buy off there as well. Really great prices. Check it out. If you do want to buy something off there, don't forget to use code Qui-Gon for 3% off your purchase. It really helps out if you're buying a couple of things. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy whatever you buy off there. Bye-bye. Hello there. So, you guys know it's been weird with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I hate Call of Duty through and through. I hate it so much. But when this beta came out, I was really pleasantly surprised, and still am. I think they've done a really good job, especially for people like me. I cannot stand Call of Duty games in the past. Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, all that. I can't stand it. I don't like it. I've never liked it. Not since like Black Ops 2 at least. So when this beta came out, you've just seen a glorious fuck up right there in the background. When this beta came out, I was really happy about it. They've done some really great things, but it is far from perfect. People are really kissing the ass of Call of Duty Modern Warfare right now. It's far from perfect, but they're not game-breaking issues. They're not issues that are, a flaw with the engine or anything. There's a few, I'd say, quality of life issues that I want to talk about in this video. I've spoken about it a little bit in streams so far, but I wanted to put it into sort of a video, into a clear, concise, compact video. And you've just seen it there. You've just seen a perfect example of it. My first point that I'll make in this video is both sides look fucking identical. They look exactly the same. Yeah, up close they might have slightly different colouring or, slightly different coloured camouflage, but you just saw me repeatedly shoot at friendlies. Then, obviously, there's no friendly fire. Thank God. I have a really good friendly fire KD ratio. If there was, my KD ratio would be way better, but no, there isn't. But both sides look exactly the fucking same. Now, from a realism perspective, they would, if they're both fighting in the same area, in the same location, the same region, let's say Russia, for example, or where Eastern Europe, I think this map is set in, they'd both use camouflage that is suited to the location, wouldn't they? They'd both use camouflage that would work for that location. They're not just gonna turn up in one in bright pink and one in bright green and, look like fucking, Halo 3 spawns or something. They're not gonna do that, obviously, but realism can only go so far, I think. When it comes to quality of life, sort of gameplay implementations, I don't think realism should be the #1 priority. Now, I'm not saying take it full Battlefield 5 style, where you put a bionic feminist in there and get rid of all the swastikas so you don't upset the snowflakes of the world. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is maybe make each side look a little bit different. Because a lot of the time, I'm not the best at this game. There's a few games that I do think I'm extremely good at, but this is not one of them. Definitely not one of them. Perhaps with a lot of practice, maybe. But, it's definitely not one of them right now. I've only put like 4 hours into the beta, 5 hours into the beta. But, with that being said, I really do struggle on this game, with knowing who's a fucking... What a glorious death that was. See, knowing who's an enemy and who's a friendly. And really, the only time that I know who's an enemy and who's a friendly is if the name above them. Whether or not it shows up as a green or blue name above them or a red name above them. And for that to happen, you have to be really close to them. Which, a lot of the time, if you've watched my Modern Warfare streams, I really just get fucking nailed at long range and mid range. Close range, I'm pretty good at this game, I'd like to believe. But sort of mid to long range, I get nailed because I don't know who's an enemy. At sort of long range in daylight, it's alright, but when you're amongst all the buildings and the vehicles, it's so hard to see. Like, the amount of times you'll see in this gameplay at some point during the gameplay, because I just recorded this now. You'll see in this gameplay, I walk into rooms with 4 friendlies and 6 or 3 enemies, and I just don't know who to shoot at. It's so difficult to know who to shoot at because they both look identical. So in this situation, I think the best thing to do would be to give them some kind of blue camo on one side and red camo on another side. I'm not saying lycra blue. I'm not saying bright blue. Don't make them look like a fucking highlighter pen. I'm not saying that. But just make it so that when you're looking, you know, when you see, look, see, if he hadn't had a red name above him there in the background, I wouldn't have known it was an enemy. Just make it so that both sides are easily differentiated. Or make it so that the Americans or the English use very obviously tan, brown camouflage, and the Russians or the Spetsnaz or the, you know, the vodka lovers make them with blue or light grey or white or something. Now, obviously it would need fine-tuning depending on the map. This isn't going to be the only map, and this is the biggest problem in Ground War, because there's so many players on there. It's such an issue. On the 2v2s, and on the smaller, more symmetrical maps, it's not that much of an issue, because, you know, your enemy's over there on the opposite side of the map, and there's only two of them. It's when there's, like, rooms full of both teams that it gets really difficult, or at long range when you're trying to see, when no name's popping up above someone and you're trying to see if it's an enemy or a friendly. It's, I don't know, it's a difficult thing. You'd get people complaining about the lack of immersion. You know, American soldiers don't use this in real life, sort of thing. But it's, for quality of life, what I mean by quality of life is just how much, not necessarily how much fun it is to play, but how tolerable it is to play. It's really bad. Like, it's a massive issue in my opinion. It's very hard to see who is on your team and who isn't. Now, this is more of an issue on PC where your aim is completely free and you're not impacted by any aim assist or anything. On console, I would guess that this wouldn't be as much of an issue just because of aim assist. I'll be talking a little bit more about this later on in the video, so stick around for that, but just because of aim assist, if you aim at a friendly, you're going to know instantly if it's a friendly or an enemy if you aim at someone, because you're going to feel the pull of the aim assist. There's no aim assist on PC, thank God. Usually it's a good thing, and I wouldn't want it just to be able to shoot at enemies, but I think it's more of a PC issue. Now, moving on to my next point, that is player visibility, all-round player visibility. We might as well just be fighting fucking ghosts in this game. The player visibility on this game is fucking crackers. It's insane. It's so difficult. And not so much in this main area here and the wider, more well-lit rooms, but in the smaller buildings, in the more rural buildings, you know, the little shacks and stuff, and in the sort of the train track street areas, you know, that we're fighting above in the gameplay in the background of the video now. It's, I don't know, it's so hard to see people. I don't know what it's a combination of the game being quite, the game's lighting isn't the strongest, I would say, in indoor areas and in shadowed areas. It's absolutely not as strong as it should be. Couple that with, I think the camouflage is just too realistic, honestly, and too accurate. They've done a good job of making it accurate and realistic to what people would actually wear, but at the same time, quality of life before immersion. Please, Infinity Ward, please. And it just becomes very difficult to see. I mean, you people who watch this, I'm sure I'll get the odd scrub in the comments like, I don't have any difficulty seeing people. I can shoot anyone from 300 meters away, sort of thing. I'm not talking about that. Fuck you, you know? No, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general. I think this is a common problem for most of the players. Again, more of a PC thing. Again, I'll get into that in a minute. But it's just too hard to see people. It's too hard to pick people out. Especially with assault rifles. Especially with bullet guns where you have to really drill into them. Not so much with snipers. And I do think this game's a bit too much of a snipe fest. If I remember to, I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. But it's with light machine guns and assault rifles especially, I think it's especially bad because the player visibility, it's just kind of crazy. I think they need to make the lighting stronger, and especially in the more dingy areas, the more shadowed areas. Obviously, don't put a fucking a sun ray through a building when it's completely pitch black and dark and shadowy and everything. Don't ruin the actual. Here, look here in the background. You can see I didn't fucking know who to shoot then because they all look the fucking same. Rewind it there to see exactly what I'm talking about. The in terms of both the characters, both the teams looking exactly the same. But yeah, I think the lighting just needs to be a bit stronger in the more overall, really, but in the more shadowy areas that aren't in direct sunlight. And the camouflage, it needs to be. They shouldn't be using brown and greys because they blended so well. It should be something along the lines of some kind of faded blue and faded red. Yes, not the most accurate, but still, it would just work so much better. I'm not saying bright blue and bright red like a Halo game, but just make it easier to see, easier to know, you know, slightly easier to know where you are shooting at. And the reason I was talking about aim assist before, the reason I said this is more of a PC issue is, one thing I love about PC, you're completely in control of your aim. The game's not playing itself like it does on console. You're not relying on bullshit aim assist. One of the reasons I hate console now, and I got rid of my console as soon as I had a powerful PC that I have now, is the aim assist. I always hated aim assist. I hated it on Red Dead Redemption 2. I hated it on Halo Reach. I hated it on Master Chief Collection. I hated it on Battlefield 1. These are all games that I would play back then. I hated it on Star Wars Battlefront 2. Really, I'm not a fan of aim assist. But in this case, I believe that the console players are getting off a lot easier than the PC players with the aim assist, because you can aim at something that you think might be a person, and more often than not, if it is a person, the aim assist is going to lock you onto it. That tells you that the thing you're aiming at, or the thing you think you know, the thing you're looking at you think might be an enemy player is an enemy player, or it isn't an enemy player, sort of thing. You know, the aim assist is going to guaranteed tell you that whether or not what you're shooting at is an enemy or a player or whatever. It also, that applies to whether or not you are shooting at a friendly or an enemy. You're going to feel that pull. I remember what aim assist was like. I hated it. You're going to feel that pull immediately. I don't know how strong the aim assist is on this game. Some games have it stronger than others. Red Dead Redemption 2 probably has it the worst, in my opinion. But you're gonna feel it straight away, so you're gonna know if it's an enemy player straight away. With PC though, it's completely freehand. That's I think PC really is the poster boy of this game, simply because there's mouse and keyboard support on, I believe, Xbox and PlayStation, and obviously PC. So a lot of people are going to be using it with mouse and keyboard, and especially with how well done the gunplay is and how good the guns feel. It just feels, as is always the case, really, it feels so much better on a mouse and keyboard. I can tell you that. I can absolutely guarantee that. So I think, yes, it's not as bad for console and not as bad for controllers in terms of knowing where to aim, knowing if you're aiming at an enemy, blah, 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 you know, sort of thing. But they do need to fix it. They do need to sort it out. The player visibility is just insane. Like this area that I'm driving through with Mr. Tank right now, if there's someone running out on there, it's very hard to see them a lot of the time. Like, it's very, you look at them and then don't react straight away because it doesn't click straight away because they're so well blended in. I think in this sense that maybe immersion has been taken a little bit too far, just a bit too far in my opinion. Anyway, like a lot of these buildings that I'm aiming in, you know, like look at the windows on the side there. That's the sort of dingy shadowed areas that I'm talking about. I can see the name. Did you see his red name there in the gameplay? Again, rewind if you want to see what I'm talking about. I can't see shit in those buildings. I have my brightness up pretty high. I've got a very good monitor, a very good display. I can't see fucking anything in those buildings. The only time I know there's an enemy in there is when there's a fucking name tag popping up or bullets flying out of there. It's so difficult. It's so hard, and it's, you know, I've seen real life. I have been in real life before. I have looked at real life. People are not that hard to spot at, say, 50 feet away or 60 feet away. So I think that could be solved and should be tweaked as well. And I think this game, the game's very immersive, and there's the gunplay and just the flow of the action is pretty damn good. One of the better first-person shooters I've ever felt, especially this genre. I would add, in my opinion, Battlefield 1 is the one that's beaten it in terms of just the flow and the way that everything feels. But anything else like Battlefield 5 and any other modern shooter games, I think this may have taken it. I don't know about Rainbow Six Siege, but I think this game may have taken it and may have one of the better ones. Better gun combat designs. But it does still feel very snipey. A lot of, not as many no-scopes and quick-scopes and just fucking dumb trick shots like that, but it's still very snipey. And I think the fact that it's very hard to see people at long range and very hard to see who's on your team and who isn't really lends itself to an overly snipey game. Because obviously with a sniper scope, it's very easy to see people at long range because you've got a very zoomed in sniper scope. It's very easy to see if that's actually a player or if it's a rock or a wall that you're aiming at. It's a lot easier to see, you know, if you're hard scoping down a corridor or down a street or down the middle of this map area here. So I think there's other things that they could do to make it less snipey, because the sniping, it just feels like you'll walk outside. If you stay outside right now, to me at least, it feels like if you stay out in the open for more than 5 seconds, you're gonna get fucking sniped. You saw that earlier on in the video, me just literally just walking out for a split second, and boom, I'm dead. Especially in this bridge area, and it just seemed kind of crazy. There are other things they could do to make sniping feel more realistic. I think Battlefield 5 does beat it in that regard, in terms of the way that the snipers feel. They could make the fire rate of snipers a lot slower. They can make it so that some of the highest damaging snipers have to be shot from over cover, sort of mantled over cover, or when you're completely prone. What I'm saying is, like, you can't just move around stood up sniping. They don't do that. Snipers don't do that. Marksman rifles do, but snipers in real life, you can't be just running around fucking popping off shots, stood up, running around, dodging enemy fire and stuff. That's just not how it works. As I said, marksman rifles, FALs, you know, AUGs, stuff like that, maybe, but snipers, no, that's just not realistic. And I think they've really brought in something from the older Call of Duties, the arcadey Call of Duties, that doesn't need to be brought in from those, which is just the bullshit casual arcadey style of the sniping. I never liked it how it was like just running around quick. Sniping was the best way of doing it if you were somewhat good at the game. You would get the most kills from sniping, or an M16A4 in like the original Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 and stuff. I think they need to make, I think those things would certainly help to make it less of a snipe fuckfest. But on top of that, even if they didn't want to do that, just the overall player visibility, shifting the player visibility in favor of the majority of the players who use assault rifles, submachine guns, and light machine guns, so that, you know, assault rifle players can see who they're shooting at. They know if they're on their team, and they know if they're, you know, they know if it's a player that they're shooting at, and not a rock or a stone or a shadow or a tree or something. It may seem funny when I'm saying like I'm getting confused between rock, stones, and players, but at longer ranges, especially out in that area where the mines are on this map, it really is hard to see. Anyway, I'm gonna end the video there. Let me know what you think. This isn't me talking shit. I don't like to talk shit about games. If I don't like a game, I just won't play it. I won't talk shit about it. But I genuinely like this game, and I'm on the fence about buying it, because I do enjoy it, but the player visibility and the quality of life aspects of it are just crazy. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Consider becoming a channel member if you really want to help out the channel. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next video or stream. Bye-bye.